How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Wi-Fi battle. Today we're in a battle versus Cody in the UU tier from the Discord server. They've got a pretty threatening looking team. The Azumarill and the Ninetales are really cool to see. The Hydrapple, the Iron Moth. Iron Moth is UU right now. That is absolutely nuts. Chinchino and the Salamence as well. So we're going to have a work cut out for us. I think Reuniclus can put in some work there if we can get a few Calm Minds up, that's for sure. Setting up on the likes of the Hydrapple potentially if we go for the Terra Fairy on the Fickle Beam. But then we do get susceptible to the Iron Moth if we do that. So we've got to be careful. I'm looking at the team. I'm thinking they lead off with the Alolan Ninetales right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lead off with my Ninetales because I'm slower than the Alolan Ninetales, which means I'll negate their Hail with my Sun. So that's the plan. And the battle begins. We are in the Blueberry Academy. They're going to lead off with the Velvet, the liquidation spamming Azumarill. We lead off with the Ninetales, so we could go straight for a Solar Beam really if we really wanted to. Of course, I'm not going to do that because I don't really want to take any unnecessary damage on my Ninetales. What I might do is go into Venusaur. Venusaur is a good switch, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Venusaur can definitely take on this Azumarill no problem, and we can fire off a Sludge Bomb to try and deter the Alolan Ninetales from switching in. So let's go ahead and do that. And they do go for a knockoff expecting the switch, which is going to do half. Does a lot of damage to my Venusaur. My Venusaur is unfortunately lost his Life Orb now as well, but we can go for a Sludge Bomb now. There's no real reason not to go for a Sludge Bomb. Everything on the team takes damage from it, so I'm going to go for it. They do withdraw the Azumarill, and what are they going to go into? The Ninetales? Whis, which is going to be what? The Ninetales comes in. So the Ninetales is in. Ninetales is in. And now that we haven't got the Life Orb anymore, I highly doubt this Sludge Bomb is going to KO. So let's go for it anyway. It nearly KOs. Like I said, if we had the Life Orb still, we would have definitely got the KO. But they unfortunately did knock it off. So we get the Poison, which is nice. Which is very nice. As now we can just switch straight back into our Ninetales, get the Sun back up. And the Alolan Ninetales will go down to the Poison the next turn. So not having any Aurora Veil shenanigans up on this kind of the game, you know. Definitely not having any Aurora Veil shenanigans. So, in comes Ninetales, Salander over here. We're going to get that Drought up real quick. There we go. They go for a Psy Shock. It's going to do a decent bit of chip damage to us, but not quite enough to do any substantial damage. As down goes their Alolan Ninetales. So we made the first KO. That's a good start. Cody is a very good battler. So, you know, I am a bit nervous battling Cody. In comes Discord, which is going to be the Hydrapple. So Hydrapple is in. It's a very big threat. We want to keep Ninetales around. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my Mandibuzz. Mandibuzz can definitely take a hit from this thing. I suppose in theory I could go into Tinkaton as well, but I don't want to get hit by an Earth Power. Whereas my Mandibuzz is specially defensive, so it can definitely take a hit, no problem. So they go for an Earth Power expecting a Tinkaton switch. Makes a lot of sense. Tinkaton was a pretty obvious one, but I'm going to go for a knockoff now. Get rid of its item, whatever it's got. It does have the leftovers, which is interesting. They go for a Fickle Beam. It's not going to be going all out or anything like that, but yeah. So knowing that we outspeed, I'm probably better off going for a U-turn into something else like a Tinkaton right now. So I am going to U-turn. It's super effective. Gets a bit of chip damage off on it. And then we'll go ahead and switch out. And I'm wondering what is the best Pokemon to switch into. I'm leaning towards Swampert I'm leaning towards Tinkaton. If I'm going to use Tinkaton for anything, it's going to be this. So I may as well go into it. So there we go. We're turning to Tinkaton Bam Bam over here. Hopefully they go for a Fickle Beam. They might be expecting a Brave Bird and switch out themselves. They don't switch out. They do go for a Fickle Beam, which is great. Now, my Tinkaton has an Encore. So I'm going to Encore it into a Fickle Beam right now. So they do withdraw. I'm probably expecting the Fickle Beam and also just expecting maybe a Play Rough. Something along those lines, and they're going to go into Velvet, which is going to be the Azumarill. So Azumarill is a good one. We go for an Encore. Obviously, it's not going to work because of the Azumarill. But now that the Sun is up, their Liquidation is not going to do nearly as much damage. So I'm going to go ahead and get some big damage off on this thing with a Gigaton Hammer. And there we go. Gigaton Hammer comes through. Figured may as well get some big damage off on it. Doesn't do as much damage as I thought it would, as they go for a knockoff, which is going to knock off our leftovers. So with the leftovers gone, we are in a bit of a predicament. Now, this thing could easily be Citrus Berry with Belly Drum, so I'm going to knock off a potential Citrus Berry right now. So we go for a knockoff. It's going to knock off a potential Citrus Berry that they might have. They have got the Assault Vest, which is good to note, as they go for a Play Rough, which is probably their best damaging move, given that the Sun is up. Now I'm going to go for another Gigaton Hammer. There's no real reason not to. So we go for a Gigaton Hammer. No real reason not to. Just slam it in the face. Nearly get the KO, which is great. They go for a Play Rough, which could lower our attack, but it's fine. It doesn't. The Harsh Sunlight fades. And now we can just go for a knockoff and finish this thing off. So they go for an Aqua Jet to get some last-ditch damage off. It does take us right down to 9 HP. We go for a knockoff and we take out the Azumarill. So Azumarill being gone is great because that thing could potentially be a big threat, especially if it was the Belly Drum set, but obviously it was Assault Vest, so we're not have to worry about that. Chinchino comes in. So this thing is going to go for a... it's either going to expect to switch and go for a Tidy Up, or it's going to go for a Tail Slap. I can't afford a Tidy Up, so I'm going to go for a Gigaton Hammer just to get as much damage as possible off as I can. So they go for a Tail Slap. That's going to take out my Tinkaton, and that is pretty much all I can do against that thing. So with the Tinkaton down, the Chinchino does kind of run rampant. So we've got to be very careful of the Chinchino right now. So Chinchino is down. Let's get the Sun up. Sun could be useful. I think Sun is a good idea, actually, because Venusaur can then come in and do a lot of damage to the rest of their team. So we're going to go into the Ninetales real quick. There we go. Go to Ninetales. We'll go straight for the Fire Blast just to get damage off because they're no doubt going to go for either a Tidy Up or a Tail Blast or Rock Blast. Rock Blast is also a good option. They do likely have either loaded dice with Technician or just Skill Link. I feel like it's going to be loaded dice with Technician because that's the most popular one that I usually see. So Ninetales goes down, but this thing is wide open to an attack from our Venusaur, which is absolutely amazing. As now I am going to go into said Venusaur and I'm going to fire off a powerful Solar Beam. They have no way to change the weather now, so may as well do this. If they bring the Iron Moth in, then we'll just go ahead and Terra Water. No, we won't Terra Water. We'll go for a Solar Beam. So they do withdraw Chinchino. Are they going to go Iron Moth, or are they going to go Salamence to take a Grass type move? Salamence comes in, so Salamence is a good switch. Nice and shiny as well, gotta love it. We go for that Solar Beam. It's definitely going to do a bit of chip damage to the Salamence, but it is 4 times resisted thanks to its Dragon and Flying typing. So that does not very much damage at all. But it's still chip at the end of the day, and we get to see whether it's leftovers or not, which is not. So if we assume they're going to go for a Dragon Dance here, we could go for a Growth, and then go for a Sludge Bomb the next turn. We still outspeed them, even with a Dragon Dance up. Or we can go for a Sludge Bomb now and get the KO. They probably expect us to switch out in something like the Swampert, so they probably go for a Dragon Dance, if anything. So I'm going to go for the Growth just in case. We go for the Growth. And if they just attack us with Dual Wing Beat, then at least we can bring something in to finish them off the next turn. They do go for a Temper Flare, which in the sun is definitely going to take us out. So I did not know that thing got Temper Flare. Pretty good to know. Salamence getting Temper Flare is actually a really cool buff because it's a physical fire type move, which gives it a... Well, it's a Moxie Boost as well. Which actually, if the move you used before fails, so if you went for a Dragon type on a Fairy type switch in, like a Tinkaton, you could then go for a Temper Flare that's doubled in power, which is crazy good. Crazy good. So, what do we do here? I think our best option is Swampert. I think Swampert is the best option we have. They know they can't take us out. We can go for a Stealth Rocks if we want to. I am going to go for a Stealth Rocks because I think they're going to switch out into the Hydrapple. So they're going to withdraw Salamence. What are they going to go into? Hydrapple, probably, right? Volcarobot. Interesting. So the Volcarona comes in. That is interesting. So, with this thing in, gets the Quark Drive boost in its speed, which is terrifying. It's in the sun as well. We go for a Stealth Rocks. Now, we've got a couple of options here. We could go ahead and expect an Energy Ball, and we could Terra. Do we have a switch into it? We do have the Mandibuzz. So we have the switch into the Energy Ball, which they might go for. Is it worth risking and going for the Terastal to take the Energy Ball? Because if they do decide to Fiery Dance, expecting the Mandibuzz, then we're going to be in a bit of a pickle. We definitely don't stay in here, which makes me want to stay in. Makes me want to stay in, you know. It really makes me want to stay in. I think we play it safe and go Mandibuzz. I think we play it safe and go Mandibuzz. I am going to make the Mandibuzz switch because I don't know what they're going to go for. We'll see in a second. If they go for the Fiery Dance expecting the Mandibuzz, then we definitely shouldn't have stayed in and gone for a Terastal. They go for a Fiery Dance there. We could have stayed in and not Terra'd, which would have been a clutch moment. But, you know, it is what it is. So, their booster energy, we're going to go for a Roost right now. Just to try and... They go for a Dazzling Gleam, though, which is going to nearly take us out. Not quite, though, as we go for a Roost and get all our HP back. So, we're not looking too bad here. We're not looking too bad. So, what I'm going to do is... It doesn't look like they've got Energy Ball, potentially. They've got to have Sludge Wave for Stab. They could have Energy Ball. I'm going to go for the Roost again. They go for a Fiery Dance though. They're trying to get that boost in special attack. I'm just trying to stall out the sun because the sun is not working out right now for us. It's not working out. It's boosting the power of this Iron Moth. We do not need that in our life right now. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to U-turn out on this thing. They go for another Fiery Dance though, which isn't going to take us out obviously unless it's a crit. And they might get a special attack boost. They do get a special attack boost with a speed boost. So this Iron Moth is looking like a threat right now. Iron Moth is looking like a threat right now. We have got to be extremely careful with this. Got to be extremely careful with this. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go into my Reuniclus. I think Reuniclus can handle this. I think in the sun, we live. The harsh sunlight faded. I thought so. Yeah, I was counting. I was like, is it this turn or is it the next turn? I think we go for a Psychic here. I really think we go for a Psychic here. I think it does a lot of damage to the Iron Moth. They go for a Sludge Wave. It's going to do a lot of damage. Doesn't get us the KO. That it doesn't KO us, as we can go for a Psychic now and hopefully finish this thing off. We don't finish it off, unfortunately. Very unfortunately, Reuniclus has fallen short right there. Reuniclus has really fallen short. As Psychic is now our only option as they go for an Energy Ball. Just to show us that they have Energy Ball. Pretty much, we are in a bit of a pickle right now. We are in a bit of a pickle. So, options, Swampert. The only option we've got right now is to go for the Terastal. Now, Terastal is a double-edged sword because we can either go for the Terastal and the Energy Ball. We would have Terastaled earlier though, wouldn't we? If we were going to Terastal, we would have Terastaled earlier. So that makes me think they're going to go for a Fiery Dance. That makes me think they're going to go for an Energy Ball. I think the right play to do is go for the Terastal Earthquake. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I don't see any other way around it. They either, if they predict the Terastal and go for a Fiery Dance right now, then so be it. I hope they don't. If they do, they do. If they don't, they don't. If they do, we're in a bit of a pickle. So they go for a Fiery Dance expecting the Terastal. Pretty obvious. I mean, we don't even live that. We don't even live that. Iron Moth is ridiculous. Iron Moth is redonkulous in the UU tier right now. I can't believe this thing's UU. But really well played by Cody, though. They did a real good job. We tried to play around it. They made the Terra prediction. Good plays on all, you know, really good play by my opponent right there. So we go for a knockoff now just as a last-ditch effort. They do go for a Dazzling Gleam, which KOs the Mandibuzz, and that is going to be the game. So GG Cody, that was a pretty fun one. I enjoyed that one. It goes to show Iron Moth should not be in the UU tier. Should not be in the UU tier right now. But anyway, here is the team. Try it out if you want to. Use the code at the top right corner of the screen. Thanks so much for watching today's video. If you did enjoy, of course, leave a like, subscribe, all that wonderful stuff. And with that being said, I'll see you all in a bit.